Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I am Mike. This is a spoiler-free review of Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2, but really, there's not really much more spoilers to get into, even if I wanted to, because this thing's about as simple as a box of Cracker Jacks.
Simple Jack, the story of a mentally impaired farmhand who can talk to animals.
It looked great. I will give it credit. I'm going to start with a positive thing I'm going to say about this movie. It looked great. It looked like a movie. You know what I mean? The practical effects were really good, I thought. Barely even noticed the use of CGI. The cinematography was well done, and you rarely see that with movies, much less, a Blumhouse video game movie just meant to be a suction pump of money infiltrating Blumhouse in the studio. So I'm shocked with the way that the camera shots were framed. They did a great job with that. There's several shots where you see the animatronics in a certain light that really does, from what I understand, replicate some of the jump scares you see in the video game. There's a shot of one of them that's in water, in this water trough, that I thought was really well done. Overall, the entire film is framed and the action scenes are filmed well. Now that's with the caveat of saying, I don't understand how these things are scary. You know what I mean? Like, there was a couple parts in the early scenes of the movie where some of the jump scares were pretty good. And for the level of gateway horror that this is, barely even scraping a PG-13, probably could have been PG in a lot of areas. For what we know this to be, there was a couple scenes there that I was like, that was pretty dark. And it touches, just the tip, ouch, you're on my hair, it touches on the darkness that's there with this backstory with William Afton, and that the fact that these kids were actually killed and all the stuff that happened there. So when it slightly gets into that, you're like, okay, this feels like it's a horror property for once. Now, all that being said, as good as it looked, the animatronics themselves, there's a point where they want to take them out of Freddy Fuckbears. If you were finding it hard to be scared by these things before, when they're out in the open, oh my god, it's impossible. They make a point of showing how heavy-footed they are, and every time they move, it's like, boom, they're so loud. I don't know why I felt the need to do that fucking noise.
You make me happy.
But they're so loud and slow, and yet the movie wants you to believe that at points they sneak up on people like ninjas out of nowhere, and you're like, that's fucking stupid. Like, I watched it move. There's no way it would have got down that hallway, past all those people and behind this guy and popped up the boogie scare him. It's ridiculous. And that's where you get into the problems of the movie. It looks good, and it's written like it was written by a 9-year-old with a crown that was like, I fucking love coloring. That's what this is. Some of the worst writing I've ever seen in my entire life in a film, just top to bottom. Josh Hutcherson I find to be just horrifically boring personally, but that's aside the point. Vanessa, she did her best. I just feel like these actors are standing there being forced to say the absolute most dumb shit lines you've ever heard in your life. Like, at one point he's typing on a computer, and that scene was set up very nicely, and from what I understand relates back to the game very well. But he's sitting in front of a computer and he's explaining exactly what he's doing to the camera as he's doing it. He's like, oh man, I've got to break the signal. Here we go. Here's the signal. Now I've got to break it. I'm just, every reaction everyone has is just, bottom barrel, Hallmark, just standard cardboard caricature, just nothing, no depth to anything whatsoever. You know when you go to CC's Pizza and they have like the little screening room where you can just like watch a movie while you're eating, surrounded by screaming kids and throwing banana pudding and shit all over the place? This is like the quality of the writing there. I know they show classics there, but the writing of this feels as if it was made for that audience to sit and watch. Like something that should have never left that dark little corner of CC's Pizza. I know it's written by the guy who made the original thing, which boggles my mind, because from what I understand from my kids, there's a lot of really cool, deep lore to this, and it just mangles all of that, and it's all over the place. So even if you're a fan of it, I understand it could be pretty frustrating. And it's just, the guy, he may know how to write cool lore in a horror video game, but it's so clear that he has no idea how to write a movie. From every single person's dialogue to scenes not making any sense whatsoever, it's just absolutely ridiculously dumb, and you literally feel your brain frying as you watch it. So, like, as I said, it might look good. It's a fucking porta potty on the script. You'll be disappointed as I was to find out that Matthew Lillard barely in this thing at all. That's all I'll say about it. He's just a super disappointing lack of Matthew Lillard in this movie, though he has said that the third one is where his character really comes out and shines. So we will get to see that, and he was great for what he did. And Skeet Ulrich was fantastic for what he did. Also, barely in the movie at all. One scene. I'll go ahead and say that it's one scene, and he was great. Should have been in it more. Maybe we'll see that in the next movie. I don't know. And I'm not going to say anything mean about kid actors. I don't do that. So I'll just be quiet as far as that goes. But ultimately, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is fine as a gateway horror movie for kids interested in the lore, even though they messed that up apparently. And lucky for them, there's a huge friggin' audience for it. These actors, you can see them painfully reading some of these lines, but thank goodness, they're getting a lot of money for it because the franchise is making a lot of money. So, I can actually keep the director, keep the cinematographer, but please, for fuck's sake, get the writer some help. And then maybe the next one won't be that bad because at this point, we know what to expect. It's going to be glossy, shiny, just, sanitized horror built for a PG-13 audience. And Blumhouse is never going to go any deeper than that. They're never going to try to make it truly scary. This is about the best that I feel like you can hope for, unless years down the road someone goes, hey, all the kids who were obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's are adults now. Let's actually make something that's worth their fucking while. And until then, there was kids in the audience, and that's great. I'm sure that they enjoyed it, and it's gateway horror. And as gateway horror, it's fine. It's exactly the same as the first one to me. I mean, maybe a little better. I think I like this one a touch better than the first one because it was just a little bit possibly scarier, I feel like. And there's one monster boogie anima person in it that is new, and it was fine. It was fine. There was little moments, because literally the basis of it being in a Freddy Fuckbears has its own creepy mentality anyways, and the new version of that they use even has this cool little water thing running through it. So there's a couple places here you're like, that would have been cool. I could see where that would have been cool if I cared about what's happening on this screen whatsoever. And some of it's confusing. The lore is just a goddamn mess, and some shit just doesn't make sense. Look, it's just, I don't know. Perhaps one day someone will make a God's Honest movie out of this, and that would be cool. But for now, it's exactly what I expected. It's a 5 out of 10. Freddy Fuckbears 2. Five Nights at Freddy Got Fingered 2. And that's my review of it. So I've got a lot of videos coming out, guys. Going to do top 10 of the year pretty soon. Going to tier list rank every movie we saw this year. I saw Caught Stealing last night on Netflix. That's a fucking great movie. That was a good movie. I definitely recommend Caught Stealing. I had no idea it was going to be that gnarly. So yeah, love your fucking faces. Talk soon.
But now the question is, can Speedman make audiences happy?